Have you ever wondered what truly lies ahead as you grow older? Is it the fear of losing time, the struggle with physical changes, or the feeling of isolation that often accompanies aging? If you're facing these challenges, or simply curious about what's coming next, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, we'll dive deep into the emotional and psychological shifts that come with aging, something many of us overlook until it's too late. You'll hear real-life stories of people grappling with regrets, loneliness, and finding purpose in later life. But it's not all negative. There's also inspiration on how to embrace these changes with grace, find new passions, and rediscover your value. This video will show you how to navigate the complexities of aging, and how, despite the hurdles, this phase of life can be one of the most rewarding yet. Stay tuned until the end to discover valuable advice on overcoming emotional struggles, rebuilding relationships, and living a fulfilling life, no matter your age. Trust me, the best part of your journey might still be ahead. Keep watching to find out how. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Number 1. Facing the reality of time and mortality. Aging brings one of life's most poignant and inescapable realizations: the relentless, unstoppable progression of time. In our youth, time feels limitless, an expansive horizon filled with dreams, possibilities, and ambitions that we assume we have all the time in the world to pursue. But as the years pass, our relationship with time evolves. Days, months, and even years seem to slip by faster, leaving us with a sharper awareness of life's finite nature. This dawning reality often ignites a sense of urgency, a compelling desire to make the most of the time we have left, and for many, this comes with a mix of anxiety, nostalgia, and even regret. People across social media and forums frequently express this heightened awareness. There's a distinct pressure, a deep, gnawing feeling, that there are things we must accomplish before time runs out. It's a feeling that can provoke intense introspection, sometimes culminating in a midlife crisis where individuals reevaluate their life choices. They may reflect on missed opportunities, unfinished dreams, and paths not taken, all colored by a longing to seize what remains of their time. This reevaluation often brings forth a range of emotions, from sorrow and remorse for what might have been, to a rekindled hope and determination to finally live life fully. A particularly touching story shared by a man in his late 50s on Reddit captures this sentiment perfectly. For decades, he held onto a dream of traveling the world, of exploring places he'd only seen in books and documentaries. But the responsibilities of work, raising children, financial obligations, and life's daily demands continually postponed this cherished ambition. Now, with his children grown and the weight of family responsibilities easing as he nears retirement, he's finally planning those long-dreamed-of journeys. His story resonates with so many who, upon facing the reality of time's passage, realize it's never truly too late to pursue our passions. This story stands as a testament to the resilience of dreams, even in the face of time's ticking clock. It's a reminder that while we may feel the weight of years behind us, every moment ahead offers a chance to rekindle what once inspired us. Embracing the reality of our mortality doesn't have to be paralyzing. It can inspire a newfound vigor, a determination to savor every experience, and to finally, deeply live. 2. Dealing with physical and mental decline. Aging brings a cascade of visible, often painful changes to our bodies, leaving many grappling with the unavoidable loss of physical prowess they once took for granted. For some, the mirror's reflection becomes a stark reminder of what time has quietly taken. Our bodies, once brimming with energy and resilience, may now falter, demanding longer recovery times and yielding more easily to injury. Simple tasks once done without thought might now require effort, patience, and caution. On a popular forum, a user in their late 60s shared an intimate reflection on this struggle. They described how, once an enthusiastic runner, they now find themselves struggling to jog without feeling breathless and fatigued. The frustration and sorrow in their words were palpable. The the loss of a beloved passion, a hobby that once filled their days with joy and pride, now feels painfully out of reach. It's not just a physical loss. It's a grieving process for a part of life that once defined them. Equally troubling, if not more so, is the specter of mental decline. The fear of memory fading, of thought slowing, and even of degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's casts a shadow over the minds of many as they age. In heartfelt discussions, older adults voice their fears of losing independence, forgetting cherished memories, and slipping away from themselves. There's a deep, visceral fear of losing the cognitive clarity that connects us to the world, to our loved ones, and even to our own identity. The thought of no longer being able to enjoy life as they once did weighs heavily on those navigating this uncertain path. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Yet, amid these challenges, there is a path to resilience, to finding purpose and joy even in changed circumstances. It's about adapting and honoring what our bodies and minds can still offer. I've found new ways to nourish my spirit and stay active, like the gentle strength building of yoga or the soothing, weightless movements of swimming. Though different, these activities bring their unique forms of joy, helping me to appreciate what I can still do rather than mourning what's been lost. This journey is not simply about enduring the challenges of aging but embracing life anew, discovering hidden strengths within, and savoring the beauty in adapting gracefully to each stage of life. 3. Loneliness and isolation. As we journey through the later years of life, an undeniable and often heart-wrenching reality settles in. Our once thriving social circles begin to dwindle. Friends move away, cherished relationships shift, and sometimes, without warning, people drift apart. This can be especially challenging for those who are single or for parents whose children have moved out, leaving homes that once echoed with laughter now eerily silent. For many, loneliness becomes an unwelcome companion that shadows their days and colors their nights. A recent thread in an online forum was a testament to this profound ache, filled with deeply personal, heartfelt accounts from people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. They spoke candidly of feeling forgotten, struggling to fill the void left by lost connections and lifelong friends who have passed or moved on. Many of these voices revealed just how difficult it feels to forge new bonds at this stage of life. The bittersweet memories of friends and loved ones only intensify the longing for companionship, a need that feels almost insurmountable with each passing year. The pandemic, with its relentless isolation, only magnified this emotional wound, making it harder for so many to reconnect with the outside world. Loneliness is not simply an absence of people but an emotional weight that permeates one's spirit, casting shadows over even the brightest days. It's a burden that presses on the heart, heavy and unyielding. Yet, it is a burden we can strive to lighten, bit by bit, through conscious, courageous efforts to reconnect. I found some solace by taking small but significant steps, joining local community groups, volunteering, and even reaching out to old friends I hadn't spoken to in years. These actions may seem simple, but they take immense courage in the face of deep-seated loneliness. It's not easy to keep putting ourselves out there and to continue hoping for a connection, but it's essential. In those moments when we find the strength to reach out, we discover that we are not alone in this struggle. Others, too, are searching for that shared spark, that sense of belonging, and through these connections, we can begin to heal the silent ache of loneliness. 4. Regrets and unfulfilled dreams. As we journey through the seasons of life, there inevitably comes a moment when we stop and look back, allowing the memories to wash over us. The beautiful, the bittersweet, and the hauntingly unfulfilled. The paths we didn't take, the dreams we left gathering dust on a forgotten shelf, and the passions we allowed to fade all resurface, tugging at the corners of our hearts. In these reflective moments, we feel the deep ache of dreams deferred and ambitions that never came to be. For many, this feeling of regret is all too familiar, a silent companion that whispers in moments of stillness, reminding us of everything we once held close but, somehow, let slip away. One man, now in his 70s, shared a story that illuminates the profound impact of such regrets. All his life, he had cherished a secret dream, to learn to play the piano. He imagined his fingers dancing over the keys, producing music that spoke directly to his soul. He would picture himself in quiet solitude, creating melodies that only he could bring to life. Yet, year after year, he set this dream aside. He found himself consumed by the responsibilities of life, his work, family, and the relentless pace of the everyday. One day I'll start, he told himself. But one day kept slipping further away, and before he knew it, decades had passed. Now, when he looks back, there is a deep, lingering sadness. A sense of sorrow not just for the dream itself, but for the part of himself that he left unexplored. Despite this feeling, he also describes a sense of quiet determination. Even though the notes don't come as easily now, he has finally committed to learning. Each day, he sits at the piano and lets his fingers explore the keys. It's harder than it would have been in his youth. His fingers don't move as nimbly, and his memory isn't as quick. But there's something deeply rewarding in the struggle. It's as though each note he plays heals a small piece of the regret that has weighed on him all these years. In those moments, he reconnects with a younger version of himself, rekindling a dream that never truly died. Regret is often seen as a painful, even destructive emotion, a ghost that haunts us with memories of missed opportunities and lost time. Yet, regret holds a certain power, a kind of motivational fire that can awaken our deepest desires and push us to reclaim pieces of ourselves we thought were lost. Regret reminds us that even though the past is written in ink, the future remains a canvas open to new colors, shapes, and stories. It urges us to consider not only what we have missed but also what is still possible. It whispers to us that we don't have to be defined by the choices we made or the chances we didn't take. There is beauty in realizing that we can still make different choices, that as long as we are breathing, we have the power to transform our lives, nurture forgotten dreams, and find fulfillment in ways we may never have imagined. I've come to understand regret not as a source of shame or sorrow, but as a gentle nudge, a reminder that life is precious and that our passions, no matter how delayed, deserve our attention. It's a reminder that we have the power to honor our unfulfilled dreams, to water the seeds of aspirations left unplanted, and to pursue new experiences with an open heart. We are more than our missed chances and our unrealized ambitions. Each day, we are offered a new beginning, an opportunity to add depth, meaning, and beauty to the story we are still writing. Our past, no matter how filled with what-ifs, does not have to define our future. So, let regret fuel our courage. Let it be the reason we pursue the things we truly love, without waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect version of ourselves. Let it be the voice that urges us to create, to dream, and to reach for something greater. Regret, in all its ache and beauty, teaches us that there is a quiet magic in starting anew, in honoring our dreams regardless of the stage we're at in life. And as we take those first tentative steps toward fulfilling those long-held dreams, we begin to free ourselves from the weight of regret, transforming it into something precious, a symbol of resilience, growth, and the unbreakable spirit of the human heart. In this way, regret does not have to be a burden we carry to the end of our days. Instead, it can be the very reason we find joy and purpose in each remaining day. May we all find the courage to live our lives with intention, to pursue the dreams we once held close, and to embrace the new beginnings that await, with gratitude for the journey we've traveled and hope for the road that lies ahead. 5. The challenge of staying relevant in a rapidly changing world. For many older adults, the relentless pace of technological advancements, the shifting landscape of societal norms, and the unfamiliar currents of modern culture can feel like being swept up in a storm. The world they grew up in, a world that felt reliable, anchored, and knowable, now seems to be vanishing beneath their feet. This rapid transformation can breed a feeling of irrelevance, a nagging sense that their voices, experiences, and perspectives no longer hold weight in a society driven by youth, innovation, and speed. Imagine what it's like to witness familiar forms of connection fade away. The sound of a friend's voice over a landline, a handwritten letter arriving in the mail, or the comfort of flipping through a beloved newspaper every morning. Instead, there's a torrent of social media platforms, text messages, emails, and online news feeds that demand constant engagement. It's easy to feel like the world has moved on without you. And it's more than just technology. It's a cultural evolution where the priorities, values, and ways of life you grew up with seem to fade into the background, replaced by trends and lifestyles that feel foreign, sometimes even isolating. I recently came across a moving forum post from a woman in her 50s. She spoke of how she felt like a stranger in her own home, as if an invisible wall had risen between her and her teenage children. Her children's lives revolved around a digital world she struggled to understand, a world of social media influencers, online gaming, and endless scrolling. When she tried to engage them in conversation about school or friends, she found herself feeling out of sync, as if she were speaking a different language. She confided that this feeling of disconnect hurt deeply. It was more than just a generational divide. It was the feeling of being slowly edged out of their lives, of losing her place in the story of her own family. The truth is that staying relevant as we age is not about mastering every new technology or keeping up with the latest trends. It's about a willingness to stay curious and open, to remain connected to the changing world and, most importantly, to those we love. Relevance isn't a race. It's a lifelong commitment to learning, understanding, and reaching out. I've embraced the challenge of staying relevant by leaning into these changes rather than resisting them. I've made it a practice to try out new technologies, even if they're frustrating or feel foreign. I make a point of asking questions without judgment, listening more to the younger voices around me, and giving myself permission to make mistakes and not have all the answers. Relevance at its core is not just about keeping up. It's about nurturing a connection with the world, with each new generation, and with ourselves. It's about remaining engaged, about showing up in a world that may look different from the one we've always known but is still filled with people, ideas, and experiences that can enrich us. Staying relevant is about holding on to that precious thread of connection that keeps us woven into the beautiful, ever-changing tapestry of life. In this journey, we learn that relevance isn't just about knowledge. It's a mindset, a choice to keep our hearts open to the world and the people in it, even as they change. Perhaps, in this willingness to stay engaged, we find not only relevance but also a deeper purpose, to be a bridge between generations, to pass on the wisdom we've gathered, and to embrace the wisdom that new generations bring. In the end, the heart of relevance is love, the love to stay connected, to be curious, and to remain part of this vast, unfolding story of humanity. 6. Finding purpose in later life. As the familiar rhythms of life shift, careers that once demanded our energy slow to a steady hum, and the children we've nurtured grow and step into their worlds, many of us find ourselves at a crossroads. This new stage of life, often cloaked in silence and empty spaces, invites us to pause and ask a question we may not have considered in decades. What is my purpose now? The roles that once defined us, shaped our routines, and tethered us to a sense of belonging, may no longer feel as central or even accessible. For years, we proudly embraced identities as parents, dedicated professionals, and caregivers. But as these roles naturally evolve or fall away, we might feel an unexpected emptiness, a sense of drifting, as if something fundamental is missing. In those quieter moments, many experience a pang of loss, a feeling of invisibility, as if their worth in the world is somehow diminished without these familiar roles. But what if this stage of life is a gift, a rare opportunity to redefine who we are on our terms, rekindling passions we once buried or discovering new ones we never dared explore? In a popular online forum, a woman in her 60s shared her journey through this very transition. She bravely recounted her struggle with the emptiness she felt after retirement, a void she hadn't anticipated. She spoke of how, for years, her days had been woven with purpose and structure, filled with the rewarding, if sometimes exhausting, demands of her career. Yet now, in this new and unfamiliar chapter, she felt a void. After some time of reflection, she chose to revisit a part of herself she'd long ignored, a love for art that had always lingered quietly in the background of her life, waiting for its moment. With brush in hand, she felt an unexpected wave of peace and joy. Creating art became more than a pastime. It became a language for her soul, a way to express the emotions and insights she'd accumulated over a lifetime. This rekindling of her passion for painting gave her a renewed sense of identity and fulfillment she hadn't felt in years. What had begun as a curiosity turned into a lifeline, a source of profound satisfaction that filled the emptiness she had once felt so acutely. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Finding purpose in later life is about so much more than filling the hours. It is a deep, personal journey of reconnecting with ourselves, exploring passions old and new, and acknowledging the beauty in our own untold stories. For me, this journey has been one of rediscovery and giving. It's been about sharing the wisdom and experiences I've gathered, stepping into roles as a mentor for younger people, and lending my time and energy to causes that I believe make a difference in the world. It's a powerful realization that purpose is not something we have to chase or earn. Rather, it's something that naturally emerges when we turn inward and allow our hearts to guide us toward the things that matter most. This journey also requires us to let go of the societal pressures that have conditioned us to believe our worth is tied to productivity or achievement. In this later stage, we have the incredible opportunity to redefine worth on our terms. Our value is found in the love we give, the wisdom we share, the moments we cherish, and the compassion we offer to those around us. We become carriers of life's most enduring lessons, and in doing so, we bring light to the lives of others while simultaneously illuminating our path. And so, we learn that this stage of life is not a period of decline but a season of blossoming. It's a chance to nurture ourselves in ways we may have neglected for years, to embrace passions we once thought impractical or impossible. It's a time to celebrate the resilience of our spirits and the richness of our experiences. In sharing these, we discover that purpose is not something that fades with age. It's something that deepens, grows richer, and finds new, beautiful expressions as we continue our journey forward. Through this, we remind ourselves and the world that we are as vibrant and full of potential as ever, ready to leave an enduring legacy not of productivity, but of love, joy, and meaning. 7. Navigating identity shifts. As we journey through the later stages of life, the roles and labels that once gave us purpose, whether as dedicated professionals, nurturing parents, or selfless caregivers, often begin to evolve or even disappear entirely. This profound shift in identity can feel like an emotional whirlwind, leaving us questioning our very essence. We may find ourselves asking, who am I without these roles that once structured my days and defined my worth? Take, for example, a woman in her 60s who confided in me about her struggles after leaving behind a successful career that had been her life's work. She spoke of waking up to mornings filled with a quiet emptiness, a void where her purpose used to reside. For decades, her identity had been intricately woven into her job, every accomplishment, every challenge, every moment of validation. And then, in an instant, it was gone. She felt like she was floating, unanchored, unsure of how to fill the long hours that once buzzed with meaning. I too have walked this path of inner turbulence. When I retired, I was met with a flood of emotions: sadness, confusion, and even a touch of fear. The world I'd built around my career seemed to dissolve, and I was left standing in unfamiliar territory. But as the initial shock softened, I realized this period of uncertainty was a rare and precious invitation, a chance to rediscover parts of myself that had long been dormant. Slowly, I began to listen to the whispers of my heart. I found solace in journaling, where I could pour out my thoughts and begin to understand what truly mattered to me beyond the confines of my career. I reconnected with the hobbies I'd set aside for years, allowing myself to get lost in the tranquility of gardening, the creativity of painting, and the warmth of conversations with old friends. Each day became a canvas, and I began to paint a new identity. Not one bound by a job title or responsibilities, but one deeply rooted in who I am as a person. This journey has not been easy, but it has been transformative, allowing me to grow into a version of myself that feels more authentic and fulfilled than ever before. 8. Caring for adult children or grandchildren. Caring for adult children or grandchildren is a journey that brings with it a profound mix of emotions: joy, fatigue, love, and at times, a sense of overwhelming responsibility. As parents, We may think our primary duty ends when our children reach adulthood. But often, life has other plans, and we find ourselves stepping back into caregiving roles, whether it's supporting our grown children through life's challenges or becoming deeply involved in raising our grandchildren. This role can be an honor, a second chance to nurture and love, yet it can also be a quiet struggle as we navigate the delicate balance between giving to our loved ones and preserving our well-being. A man in his late 60s recently shared his story of moving in with his daughter to help care for his grandchildren. He spoke with both tenderness and weariness, describing how he hadn't anticipated that, in his golden years, he'd find himself waking up in the middle of the night to soothe a crying child, changing diapers, and spending his afternoons chasing after energetic toddlers. He loved every moment spent with them, their laughter, their wonder, their innocence. But he also admitted that the physical and emotional toll was more than he expected. The demands of this unexpected role sometimes left him feeling drained, yearning for the restful retirement he'd once envisioned. I too know these feelings all too well. When my daughter went through a difficult divorce, I found myself stepping up in ways I hadn't imagined. I took on the responsibility of caring for my young grandchildren, wrapping them in love and stability amidst their world's recent upheaval. Being so involved in their lives has been a beautiful blessing. I've watched them grow, laughed with them, and offered them a haven. Yet, I've also had to face my limits. I've had to teach myself how to set boundaries, to summon the strength to say no when my body or spirit needs rest. In moments of quiet, I remind myself that self-care isn't selfish. It's essential, especially when you're pouring your heart into others. This path is a delicate dance between giving and holding back, between nurturing and finding space to nurture myself. Through this, I've learned some of life's most meaningful lessons. The endless depth of love, the transformative power of patience, and the undeniable importance of caring for oneself even amidst the chaos. It's a journey that has made me stronger, more resilient, and deeply grateful for the bonds that connect us across generations, even as it challenges me every day. 9. Adjusting to retirement and financial changes. Retirement is often painted as a golden phase of relaxation and well-deserved leisure, a dream many eagerly anticipate. But for countless individuals, this chapter is a stark adjustment, both financially and emotionally, shaking the very foundation of their daily lives. Gone is the familiar rhythm of the workplace, replaced by an open-ended expanse of time that can feel overwhelming. The financial transition alone, from the stability of a steady paycheck to a fixed or limited income, can be a wellspring of anxiety, often compounded by rising living costs. Suddenly, the need to budget meticulously becomes pressing, as each dollar now holds significant weight. For many, this shift brings a sobering realization of just how different it is to rely on a pension rather than a regular salary. A man in his early 70s shared an experience on a forum, revealing his unexpected struggle after retirement. He confessed that he hadn't anticipated the financial strain, and each day was a balancing act of stretching his resources further than he ever had before. But beyond the monetary stress, he found himself adrift, with endless hours stretching before him, breeding boredom and a sense of purposelessness. Where once his work had defined his identity, he was now wrestling with the question, who am I without it? When I retired, I found myself in a similar emotional and financial storm. I had braced for the financial adjustments but was caught off guard by the intense emotional challenges. Each day, once filled with routine and purpose, now loomed open and empty, waiting for me to fill it with something meaningful. I found myself yearning for a sense of structure, a reason to get up and engage with the world. So, in search of purpose, I started volunteering at a local shelter. Not only did it bring back a rhythm to my days, but it also filled me with a deep sense of fulfillment and connection, something I hadn't realized I missed so much. On the financial front, I became more mindful of my spending, relearning how to find joy in life's simple pleasures. An afternoon walk, a quiet cup of coffee, a book from the library, all of which felt as satisfying as anything money could buy. Downsizing my expenses, being intentional with each purchase, and embracing a simpler, more thoughtful lifestyle taught me to stretch my resources in ways I hadn't before. The journey to adjust is undoubtedly challenging, But with resilience and small steps, it's possible to rediscover purpose, create new routines, and redefine fulfillment beyond work and finances. Retirement isn't the end of meaningful contributions. Rather, it's a chance to reinvent how we connect with our lives, making the most of this precious chapter. 10. Coping with changing relationships. As the years pass, our relationships inevitably shift, evolving in ways we may never have anticipated. Friendships that once felt as steady as a rock can fade, family dynamics twist and turn, and romantic relationships may encounter hurdles we never foresaw. These changes can leave us feeling lost or questioning the very foundations that once gave us strength. A woman in her 50s once shared her story of finding herself in an unfamiliar place. Her circle of friends, once vibrant and full, had grown smaller with time. Some had moved to far-off places, others drifted as life took them in different directions, and a few were no longer here. She described how, as her connections thinned, a profound loneliness set in, a sense of being adrift without the anchors of those once familiar faces and comforting voices. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I too have felt the pang of shifting relationships. Some of my oldest, dearest friends have journeyed onto paths that diverged from mine, making it hard to stay connected as we each chased different dreams, family obligations, and daily routines. At first, I found myself mourning the loss of those deep bonds, wishing I could reach back and preserve what once was. But as I reflected, I realized that this, too, is a natural part of aging, a tender, bittersweet chapter of life that we all must face. Rather than solely grieving what's changed, I decided to focus on nurturing the relationships that remain and opening my heart to the possibility of new connections. To find companionship, I joined a local book club, immersing myself in the shared love of stories with people I never knew I'd find so much joy in. Meeting this wonderful group taught me something powerful, that while relationships change, they can also blossom in unexpected, beautiful ways, filling spaces in our lives we may not have realized needed filling. Growing older is undeniably challenging, often in ways that test our resilience and sense of self. Yet, it is also a profound privilege, one that allows us a unique perspective, a chance to understand life in deeper shades. Aging brings transitions, yes, but it also offers rich moments of reflection and, above all, growth. As we confront the hardest parts of aging, the grief, the physical changes, the reshaping of relationships, we gain something invaluable, a chance for self-discovery and the wisdom that can only come with time. Life gives us the bittersweet gift of looking back on a journey rich with experiences, lessons, laughter, and love. We can pass on our stories, share our insights, and embrace the person we've spent a lifetime becoming. Aging is not the close of a story. It's a new chapter, one that promises even more beauty, depth, and experiences waiting to be cherished. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect. What have you learned from this journey of embracing life's changes, especially as we grow older? Think about one insight you've gained that resonates deeply with you, something you feel inspired to bring into your own life. We would love to hear your thoughts, so please share in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to leave your comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more meaningful conversations with you in the future.